Awesome, guys. Welcome. Today is week 3 of Unlock Your Greatness. And Dan and I are so excited to be here with you all on this Saturday morning. And I am beyond excited to share our guest speaker with you today. Many of you guys have heard my story over and over again about how one of my mentors, Kim Fiske, finally got through to me and encouraged me to go to National Convention in 2011. She was so patient. She kept reaching out, and I kept giving her the stiff arm saying, no, I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested. I don't want to go build a business. No, I'm not interested. And she finally said, maybe it'd be a good idea for you to just go and see the company that you represent. Does that feel good to you? And I had to admit it did. So I went out and saw the company and was blown away and won that $1,000 drawing that she was doing. You guys have heard the story. But last week I talked about Dave Blanchard and how he had impacted my life. But honestly, as I look back over the years of coaching, things that I do and experiences that I have and things that I know to do or not do, so many times I think back and realize that I learned them from Kim. And Kim Fiske is actually my coach's coach. Randy Karchner is my coach, and Kim is his direct coach. And she has been a wonderful, great mentor and friend throughout the years, and together we've learned much. And so I am so excited to have her come on. She's got like a ton of accolades. I won't go through them all, but she just is an amazing leader, trainer. She's got 4 darling kids and 5 grandkids. Is that right, Kim? 5? Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm going to let her take it from here. Kim, can you come on and Linda, make sure that it's in speaker view so that we can record it in speaker view, if you don't mind. Thank you so much, Kim. Take it away.
Okay, so I hear you guys have been having lots of fun on these calls. Jan gave me a quick update yesterday, and I just want to say wow, and I am humbled and honored to be invited and also to see all of your commitment. I don't apologize because it is what it is, but my computer fried yesterday, and I'm not usually doing Zoom on a phone, but it works. So I'm thankful that we have some backup plans here. But I can't see everybody, and I can't even see all the chat. So if you're chatting me or whatever, I can't see it. So sorry. Just know that I love you, and I appreciate you, and I applaud you. So I want to jump into, I know we only have an hour, and you guys are taking your valuable time on a weekend, and that's humbling. First of all, let me just start by saying what a miracle you are. I know some of you beat yourself up. I get it. I totally understand. You beat yourself up. You say, I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as somebody else. Look at them, look at them, look at them. But I want you to look at you for a second and realize, especially those of you who maybe are coaches that have coaches. How many, I have you raise your hand. You can raise your hand if you want, but nobody will see you. But how many of you, just think about this, how many of you have coaches that you've sponsored coaches? They've never called you back. They've never done anything. They've never gotten on a call. They've never come to an event. Or maybe they've come once or dabbled a little. But look at you guys. I can pretty much guarantee you that most of the people on this call right now are on most every call. I can pretty much guarantee you that most everybody on this call right now go to every event they possibly can, because that's who you are. And you beat yourself up thinking you're not as good as somebody else, but honestly, you are a miracle. You are a chosen few, and you need to realize that, number one, how special you are, and how that is not going to be how most people are. You think because you do it, that means everyone's going to do it, and that's where we get all wonky, because very few people percentage-wise will do. Have you read the parable of the sower? Very few people percentage-wise will do, are what's called good ground. That doesn't mean they're not inherently valuable and worthy as a person. It just means that it's not their gig right now. It's not what they're doing. They're going to let life distract them. They're going to, have weeds come up. They're going to have the cares of life. Their birds are going to get the seed. But look at you. You're here. Oh, this wasn't even what I was going to talk about. But I want you to give yourself that, and also manage your expectations. Managing expectations is one of the key skills I have learned in my life, in my family, in my every relationship I have, and in my business. If I manage my expectation to say, because like I said, you think because you do it, everyone will, and when they don't, something's wrong with you. And that's an interpretation that doesn't serve. It's actually not based on the truth. The law says many are called and few are chosen. The law says very small percentage are good ground. And go read the parable of the sower if you want to know specifically what that means. But so when you manage your expectations, and when I would go out and talk to people, I'd go, okay, I very few are going to be ready to throw their credit card at me the first time I talk to them. That was I managed that expectation, because if you don't, what do? You sit there and go, oh, I suck. You hang up every phone call where you maybe talk too much, or, you said something wrong, and you go, oh crap, I'm never going to call another person, or I'm never going to talk to anybody again because I screwed up. But what if your expectation was, oh, just like when you were learning to walk, oh, this is what's going to happen. Oh, that's what happened. I'm going to learn from that. Or that person's not ready yet. That person's not ready yet, because that's what I'm expecting to find just a small percentage ready right now. And the rest of them, they'll come when they're ready. What if that was your expectation? What if in mentoring coaches, you said, okay, did I sponsor a chosen few, the good ground coach, or did I sponsor a kit buyer? Because most coaches that join are kit buyers. They're not a you. So if you know that going into it, then you just go get more. And you're on a treasure hunt to find the ones that are like you. You can't make them. Did anyone make you who you are? Did your mentor coach create your desire and your commitment to be on every call? Was it because your mentor coach called you and said, hey, there's this call coming up. Hey, are you no. In fact, some of you are here in spite of your mentor coach, because they probably might have bugged the crap out of you and you're here anyway. But it wasn't because of them. It's because of you. It's because of who you are and where you are and the purpose you're serving right now in your life. That, again, was not at all what I was going to talk about. So what was I going to talk about?
That was awesome, Kim. That was so good. Yeah. They needed to hear it. We all need to hear that. So good. I think you were just going to share about your awesome book and the limiting beliefs that we deal with and all of that.
Okay. So the beliefs okay, good. Thank you. See, people have to bring me back. I want to talk to you about identity, your identity as it relates to what you're going to accomplish in your life, not just in this business, not just with your health, but we all have what I call a level of acceptability that is governed by our identity/beliefs. And we will never outperform, long term, we will never outperform what that identity, what our brain has, what we've decided who we are, for the good, bad, and the ugly. And again, it does relate back. I don't know how many of you have seen, have read my book or listened to my book. It's on Audible now, but it's basically how our, I don't think everyone's muted, but anyway, I don't know. I'm hearing, maybe it's something in my static in my ears, but how we're created, our identity without investigation was created by our little emotional, no logic, no reasoning self. And that's who we really continue to be. Our identity was created by our emotional brain, not our logical brain. That part of our brain didn't even develop till our mid-20s. So basically our emotional brain just has certain messages that it responds with when it faces what it feels the fear of, it doesn't know that you're scared of, talking to someone, or you're scared of what somebody might think of you. It just feels the fear and assumes that your survival is threatened. It speaks emotion only. It only knows what you're feeling. And then it only responds back with, if it feels the threat of survival, again, with survival without reasoning, because it doesn't know that you're just picking up the phone call to follow up with someone that was maybe a little intimidating to you, or that you're going to have a tough conversation with a child or your husband. It just senses your anxiety and your fear, and it doesn't ask you or reason with you. It doesn't say, well, honey, it's okay. You're not going to die. It doesn't say that. That's the part of your brain that isn't triggered right now. The part of your brain that will respond is with a fight or flight message for the most part. Those are the two main ones. And those messages from our infancy, you guys, have been, I believe, flight came first. I think flight was this feeling of, uh-oh, I'm not okay. I'm not okay, AKA shame. I think that was, my theory is that that was our first message from our survival brain. Run away, hide, don't let them see. We still feel those messages today. You run away. How many of, look at the coaches that maybe aren't calling you back, the kit buyers that aren't calling you back. They're maybe running away. They're thinking, oh, what did I do? Why did I do this? I'm not like this. This isn't me, right? Shame. I don't want them to see how bad I am. I'm not as good as they are. I'm not like you, Kim. How many times did I hear that? But I'm not like you. So, okay, that means I'm not okay. I'm going to run away. That's that feeling. The other feeling on its heels, when we were little especially, was, you got to be okay. You got to prove that you're okay. These people, we were a community species. Our community has to take care of us. So in our survival wiring is the DNA, absolutely the instinct to make sure people like you. So those of us that have that people-pleasing tendency still as adults, that's where it came from. It's not a character flaw. It's not a moral, deficit. It's actually, now it's not helpful now as an adult. You can look at it with the logical brain and go, I guess that's why I still want to make my mom happy, and I'm 45 and I don't want to make her mad, and I'll do anything at my expense to please all these other people. See, that's where the wiring came from. Because this fight message is, go make them all happy. Go make sure that they accept you and take care of you, because that's survival for our brains. Our brains are not here, by the way, to make us happy. Our survival brain is only here to help you survive. And that doesn't usually make sense anymore in the world we live in. So I'm speaking to the prefrontal cortex, the logical reasoning brain now. That's who can actually go, oh, I think Dave talked last week, Jan said, about moving to observer. Absolutely. When you observe your behavior, your reactions, your emotions, if you can move to observer of them, then you can look at them differently. In the book, I call it observer or aligner. When you've aligned with those emotions, again, the status quo, your brain wants you just to keep the status quo. Don't do anything different. Don't make changes. Even if you're miserable, it doesn't get that. It just, any kind of change could mean unsurvivable to the survival brain. And so it doesn't want that. And I call it like grooves in the road, that your young brain, thought and emotion have laid these deep, deep grooves of identity in your road. And those are the things, if you move to observer, you can now learn how to hack. You can emotion hack, you can brain hack, you can do a mental ninja move, is what I call it. You can hack it once you know how it was created. The law that I talk about in the book is called Hebb's law, and it's what fires together wires together. And so what fires together, that's scientific. I didn't make that up. My theory, I haven't found anybody that actually says anything about what causes firing. So this is my theory. My theory is that the firing is caused from emotions. Emotional experiences cause the mental, the the synaptic wiring of your brain to your emotions. Emotions fire. So when you just think about this for a second, when you hear a song, on a radio now, can you go, or smell a smell? Smells are really powerful. Does it take you back to an absolute, like right now, I see this situation that happened. See, because your subconscious brain doesn't live in time either. There's no time. So that's why we're all still hijacked by our 3-year-old, because it doesn't have a connection to time. It's not linear. It's not a linear this, then this, then this. We still have the wiring of our 3-year-old, 2-year-old, whatever self, that when there were these strong emotional experiences, they might have happened once. That caused the firing. But repetition causes the wiring. And your subconscious mind also doesn't know if something is happening for reals or vividly imagined. When you vividly imagine something with all of the accompanying sensory acuity, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, oh my gosh, you can go there right now. If I had time, we'd do some exercises together where, you could go back pretty quickly and see where the firing was done, because emotionally your brain is, your subconscious brain is still there, it still holds it. And then the more you've thought about it with emotion, with the accompanying emotion, it has done the wiring. So that experience might have only happened once. I had this, in fact, I'll tell you a little story about Joe. This part might have not been about Joe. Let's just not say it's Joe. I don't want to get in trouble. Joe is my husband. But I had a call once with someone who just absolutely got physically ill if they had to get up and stand up in front of people. And Joe, that is true with Joe. I don't know if the second part I'm going to tell you is Joe, so I'm not going to say it is. But that's a common thing, right? Like it's not an uncommon feeling, and it makes no sense, right? Those of you who struggle with this, you logically go, I don't know why. These people are nice. I love them. They're not going to kill me. I'm not going to die. Logically, you know that. But emotionally, you get like, Joe will have diarrhea for a week if he has to just get up and say his name and it'll have to be a thing. Like, that's why I don't make him do any of that anymore, because it just causes him so much stress. But this person I was coaching once, when we took him back to this, they in second grade, I think, had to get up in front of the class and they peed their pants. And you guys, it was so humiliating. And in their memory, they can go right now, they're back in the second grade. Right now, they see the faces and hear and most importantly, they feel the humiliation. Run away, hide. So that might have only happened one time. Probably it did. Either because they didn't pee their pants again, or they just never got up in front of people again. Either one. But that experience was so emotional for them that not only have they fired and wired that I don't speak in front of people, I don't speak in front of people. Sometimes it also comes from the lie. The book is called The Monster Under the Bed, Uncovering the Lie That Drives Us. This lie, many people have the lie that I'm dumb, I'm stupid. That's their configuration of I'm not okay. They configure it that I'm stupid. And I assert that that's a lot of reasons why people don't want to get up and public speak either, because the fear of, what if I say something stupid? What if, all that. Okay, so where was I? I have so many things I want to tell you. It's just like, wait, your identity is steeped in these kinds of deep grooves of emotion and thought. And I know what I wanted to do. I'm going to do a little exercise with you right now. Just close your eyes. And what's weird for me is I'm not ever used to doing a Zoom where all I see right now is a phone icon on my screen. There's probably millions of you listening and I just see a phone icon, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep talking. Close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. And I want you just to say your name. Say hi to yourself in your mind. Okay, I'm assuming all of you did it. Normally I would have you raise your hand, but I can't see you. How many of you said it? Just raise your hand. I don't care. Just so you know I've said it. But here's the next question. How many of you heard it? And I'd have you raise your hand. But it's an interesting distinction because I can say that I said it. I can say, hi, Kim. I can say that in my mind. Do it again if you need to. There was another part of you that heard it. This helps you get this idea that you have a part of you. And now if you come from any kind of spiritual background, not religious, I'm saying just spiritual, there is a piece of you that is divine. DNA is absolutely, there's the true DNA self of you that you never knew. You never knew you had, because this wiring that I'm talking about when you were little clouded this. And it was important for survival. Don't get me wrong. Like, it played a very important role. But we don't know who we really are because we've aligned with the firing and wiring of a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. That was not true. You never needed to do, the book says, we can never get enough of what we never needed to begin with. You never needed, it was a lie that you were dumb. It was a lie. It was not a lie in a deceitful way. It just wasn't true, but you didn't know it. So you acted out your whole life as if it is true. You've acted out your whole life based on that decision, that if it was a one-time decision or a combination of experiences that kept having you decide, see, I'm not okay. I better be smarter. I better get better grades. I better be better in sports. I better get straight A's. I better be skinny. I better be beautiful. I better be rich. I better be successful. Because these were all these things that you thought you needed, the fight messages that the survival brain, Amy, the amygdala, gave you. So you've learned and developed incredible skills in your life because of this messaging, because of this wiring. It's not all bad and it's not all good. Don't think in the terms of good and bad. Think in terms of, does it serve me now? When I can look at it now with my logical brain, is it really, let's go look under the bed, lift up the covers, the bedspread, and go, what's really under there? And now that's what you're doing. But all of you who are on this call, all of you are doing this inner work. That's what you're doing. You're going, is there, like what I did really when I was like 7, I did go lift up the bedspread because I was living under the truth. It wasn't even a belief. See, some of you don't even know. You're still aligned that it's true. You're not even holding it as a belief. That's how deep these things are. Beliefs can be changed, but you're not, the ahas for you will live in the place where the big transformation comes in what I didn't know that I didn't know. What I don't know that I don't know. Oh, this is a whole nother thing. Try to listening from a place is so critically important. Because if you, and most of us are just, the default wiring is to listen from agree, disagree, judgment. Like yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad, agree, disagree. That's how we're wired to think. Our survival brain, probably that was an intrinsic way of having us know what would keep us safe. However, now, when you want to rewire and you want to experience ahas, how many times have you guys had personal ahas about yourself? I'm sure you have, or you wouldn't be on this journey. They've come from, I didn't know that I didn't even know that. When you start noticing how often you live in agree, disagree. Oh, I agree. You can even say, oh yeah, you're right. I agree, Kim. Listen from, and how you really know that you've shifted to out of agree, disagree is when people can say things that you disagree with and it doesn't push your button. You don't feel the need to argue. You don't feel the need to, like I need to tell you why you're wrong. I need to tell myself why I'm right. Even in my mind, I can be going, yeah, you're wrong. I'm right. Let me tell you why I'm right. When you start noticing from observer, those kinds of conversations going on in your mind, you're going to go, oh, wow, I was in agree, disagree. When you move to, okay, yeah, I don't have to agree or disagree. I don't have to label something right, wrong, good, bad, because that's what we do to ourselves. We live in self-judgment and we don't allow, our brain doesn't like the uncertainty of something that we don't already know we know, or something we don't already know we don't know. Like I don't know brain surgery. I know I don't know that, and I'm cool with that. See, I know I don't know it, and I know that I know how to play the piano. See, that's an example of what I know and what I know I don't know. But where transformation will occur for all of us is in another realm called, I didn't even know I didn't know that. Thank you. Thank you. And I can step into, I can hear a different, see, we don't hear with our ears, we don't see with our eyes. We hear and see everything with our beliefs, with our wiring. So when you step out to an observer place that Dave was talking about, and you move to just a different place of conversation inside yourself, and notice the triggers. Okay, one more thing. Maybe not one more, but I don't even know what time it is because I'm on my phone. My phone doesn't show me my time.
You're at 8:27, Kim, and you're doing great. Love it.
Okay. Um, so the book talks about 10 monster tracks. Like there's 10 things. And since the book, I've identified 3 more, by the way. So it's not like this is an exhaustive list. But, and again, the number one, I believe the number one monster track, the thing that really was the epicenter of the rest of them is shame. I think shame was the very first thing we felt. And then, um, and then everything was compensating for that shame. So what one of the monster tracks though is the rest of them are actually watching to see how you react. Am I a people pleaser? Do I have do I compare myself to others all the time? Does that trigger me? Does it trigger me to be perfect? Is perfectionism a monster? Like, is that, am I driven to perfection? Getting my buttons pushed. Of course, all of these are kind of examples of getting your buttons pushed. They're all kind of interconnected, but do I get angry fast? Do I take offense? Do I take things personal? I'm just going off the top of my head. Am I compulsive? Do I have compulsive behavior that doesn't make any sense? Do I live in fantasy? In fact, I quoted Dave Blanchard in my book about the fantasy track, about how we will live in setting our goals based on living in a life of luxury and ease. And it's not a principle that will actually lead to happiness because it's not based in a true principle of service and giving and contribution. So we get there, we accomplish our goal, but we're not happy. And then blame is the last monster track. But anyway, what I want you to notice is as you get triggered by these different things that show up, when you're ready to do the inner work and you're ready to move to observer, think of it as a check engine light on your car. Like if you're driving and your check engine light comes on, how do you react to that? Do you get, like, that light is really annoying me. Oh my gosh, that light is so bright in my dashboard. I think I'm going to just take my hammer and smash it. I don't want to see that light anymore. It's just too annoying. No, the indicator light means let's go look deeper. Let's go look. There's something that needs your attention, Kim. Come lift up the hood, look inside, right? There's something that needs your attention. And when you're ready to do this work, that's how you will look at these triggers. When you move to observer, it's like noticing, because see, awareness alone, and I don't know if I brought this out strong enough in the book, since the book, I mean, you guys, that's what kept me not finishing the book either, is I kept having new awarenesses of a deeper understanding. I had to go back to the beginning and, okay, no, I need to rewrite this a little bit. And oh my gosh, but I just decided, you know what, I'm never going to be done with this understanding process. So just be done with this. But awareness alone is not enough. Awareness can actually cause even more judgment. The distinction you want to think about is awareness without judgment. Because if awareness, somebody said to me, Kim, I'm awareing myself to death, right? Like, I'm aware. Oh, crap. I'm even more aware now. Thank you for letting me know how bad. Like, thank you for showing me what a perfectionist I am. Because now I really see it, and now oh crap, I did it again. Oh crap, I blew up at my husband again. Crap, I'm so bad. Do you see how the judgment just can follow awareness without, so this awareness without judgment, awareness like the indicator light. That's why this example is such a great example, because you don't look at the indicator light and then get mad at it and smash it. You look at the indicator light as just without any, objective observer, and you go, oh. So when you get your button pushed now, I seriously, most of the time when I feel those initial triggers, I'll feel them. And then I go, oh, thank you. Thank you. Like that was my indicator light. I'll go, because one day, I'll just give you an example. This was a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. I don't know, it's a blur. But Joe and I were in bed, waking up in the morning, and don't worry, this is going to be family friendly. But he knows that I like to be rubbed. Like he will just reach over and rub my arm, rub my hand, rub whatever. Like he just knows I love that. So it's my love language, whatever. Well, at this point in the morning, we were just talking, starting our day, and he reached over and he grabbed my hand and he just kind of was rubbing my hand. And for some reason, you guys, this is how quickly it happened. I threw my hand away and I go, stop. I go, or, something like that. It was not a happy thing. That pushed his button and he went, oh, well, sorry. You could just see the dance of the monsters just starting up right here, right? But because of rewiring and reinterpreting that, over the years I've done, hopefully I have seen some improvement. I caught myself right then and I went, oh crap, sorry, hang on. Because that was an indicator light. I went, okay, wait, sorry. And I went, okay, why did I react that way? What was really, because see, what you're upset, write this one down. What you're upset about is never what you're upset about. What you think you're upset about is never what you're upset about. What your reactions are not about what's really the truth, about what's really upsetting you. So when I went like, okay, what was it? Yeah, you know what? It was something about one of our kids. I had some anxiety about it, which, by the way, monster track number 11 for me. I didn't even see it when I wrote the book because it's my main one. I was in it so deep I didn't even see it. It's control. Control is a huge tendency. I think that's part of our survival brain, that it doesn't serve us to the degree that we probably implement it anymore. And we cause a lot of damage in our lives because we try to control. And that's what I was doing at this point. When I went to go investigate, there was something happening with one of my kids I didn't agree with, and I was worked up about. And it was my control trigger that I was worked up. See, my emotions, if I could go to what was angsty, and I just took it out on Joe rubbing my hand, which made no sense, right? But that's how these things play out. They don't make sense. You yell, and I love how Dave Blanchard also talks about when your survival, I don't know if he says it exactly like this, but this is the principle that he teaches, is when your survival brain is triggered, your logical brain shuts down, because in survival mode, you didn't need logic. So you don't have access to being logical when you're highly triggered. You don't have access to that brain. So it's not just learn. So a lot of the rewiring work that I help people do is learning how to actually live in a response mode instead of a reactive mode. When I react with this, any kind of reaction, even overexcitement can be a reaction mode. And it's not that it's not, don't hear it as good or bad, right? We're not hearing this as good or bad, all or nothing. That's another monster track, all or nothing. But when I notice that I'm reactionary in any way, like where I go, I go, whoa, what's that about? Then I move to response, and I'm learning how to rewire my whole psyche, my whole identity to be response-able. I want to be response-able, not reactionary, reactive, because I find that most of the monster tracks, most of the monster energy lives in reaction mode. And so, and it doesn't mean I can't be excited about something. It doesn't mean that I can't be passionate. Passionate is one of my core values. Okay, now this is going to lead to another, I think, thing that about our topic today, identity and beliefs. We will never outperform long-term, remember that, long-term, any different than who we are in our identity. We all have an identity in regards to every part of our life. You have an identity about your finances, what's acceptable. This is what I had to learn with Joe and I with our values. My values are, passion, excitement, fun, communication, contribution, intimacy. Like, let's go, right? Joe's values are stability, security, reliability, faithful, loyal. And don't hear these as good, bad, right, wrong. That doesn't live there. They're both important, and they're both like breathing to us. So when we didn't know this about each other, we'd get in fights because it mattered to him. First of all he really needs in his life is me. He doesn't really even need our kids. He just needs me. And in his picture, he would love it if I would just sail off into the sunset and live happily ever after with him. That's all he needs. Well, he knows he's not all I need. So he had to kind of do some internal interpretation work about that. I need people and I need contribution to people. I need intimacy, which means deep, deep, deep conversations. And he knows he can't give that to me. He lasts about 15 minutes and then his eyes start glazing over. He doesn't like those things. He doesn't like to talk like I do. So he knows I'm going to need girlfriends or people that I talk to, or I hire coaches to deal with me. Or some of my kids are like me, so we go deep. But once you realize without judgment each other's values and who they are, now we can set goals appropriately where I'm going to honor. That's why we're in Mexico right now. He's playing golf. That's why I'm doing golf lessons, because he really wants me to play golf with him. I'm going to do that. Why? Not because I particularly want to play golf, but I want him to be happy. I love him. So I'm going to do it because I want to, not because I have to. And I'm going to do it to honor his values, because life is happier. I'm happier. He's happier. And if we're both happier, we're happier together. Does that make sense? So where was I? So you're not going to outperform. So financially, I didn't build my Optavia business with financial goals. It wasn't important to me. I filled my room full of people I was contributing to. I envisioned that. I lived in that space of contribution. My room got bigger. Read about it in the fantasy track chapter of the book. This is how I built my Optavia business. So when I hit global presidential, or when I realized it actually when I hit presidential and I wasn't happy. I was like, what the heck? It's because it wasn't about that. It's not about that that's going to make you happy. Stop being rank driven and income driven. It's not that that's going to make you happy. It's your contribution. Fill a room full of people in your mind's eye with emotion. Wire it, fire it, and wire it with how you're going to impact the masses, or even a small group of people. And if it freaks you out to be in front of people, you might want to do some work on that. I had a lady go, Kim, just thinking about that gives me diarrhea, because she didn't want to talk in front of people. But we all have beliefs and identity that govern what we are going to be able to, how we're going to be able to change. And if you start setting goals outside of that realm of identity, first of all, the goal, chances are one of two things. You won't ever accomplish your goal, and you'll be discouraged in the whole goal setting process, because you're just going to go, I suck, I can't. No, they can do it, I can't. See, we're going to go back to comparison, blah, blah, blah. Or you'll accomplish the goal and won't be happy, like what I just described. So when you learn to you learn to do the inner work, number one, what are the beliefs that are already there, currently driving me? What are my beliefs about my ability to lead? My beliefs about my ability to earn money? My beliefs about my physical body? Have I always been fat? Is that who I am? See, because this happens a lot, doesn't it? If you don't deal with this part of someone's identity in their inner world, and as coaches, I don't know how many of coaches really have tools to help people deal with the inner world, with their inner world. And there's a way you can do it without therapy. You can actually go to an emotional place and rewire your identity. But it has to be done emotionally. It can't be done cerebrally. If we could do it cerebrally, we would have all done it by now, because we all know what we should do. If we all did what we should do, we'd be perfect. But when someone just loses weight with magic food and they don't do the inner work, they don't do encompassing all of the habits of health, including healthy mind, which doesn't just mean, sometimes I hear descriptions of what the healthy mind is. And see, those of you who lose 20 or 30 pounds, that might be in your wheelhouse of identity. That's a level of acceptability that goal can serve you, because it's already part of, close enough in the vicinity of your identity already. But when you start talking about 50, 80, 100 pounds of someone who's been heavy all their life, they'll lose weight with the 5 and 1, but you got to do this work, this identity, because long term, we're not going to abide by anything outside of who we believe we are, who we believe what's true for us. And so that's a whole nother component that is exciting and scary, because we're getting, I don't know, Jan, I see you, Jan, now on my screen, because maybe you were the last person to talk. So on my screen, I see you. So give me like a time thing if it gets close, because I really want to go here. We get what we expect. We don't get what we want. So when we set goals, we're setting goals from usually a should place, like because we should. I know this feeling, you guys. I know. My story is I became a coach, lost 13 pounds my first week, and I had had lots of experience. I've had successful experiences in network marketing. So I know how to build this business. And when I saw these results with me physically, I was like, and then I was like, holy crap, I could do this. I could actually succeed at this thing because this is easy. It's easy. And then then people noticed, and this is in the days before Facebook. I built my business with true fundamental principles of picking up the phone, walking up to people, starting conversations. I didn't have, the tools that everybody has today, which can hurt, which is good and bad, right? Because you don't know. Maybe you haven't picked up the phone. Maybe you don't know how to do scary things because you're just relying on before and after pictures to bring you clients. Well, you got about 1.5 years of that. And then if you don't do some internal work about that, your business is going to go away. Write it down. If you haven't done the internal work of rewiring your beliefs that you can do this kind of business and what your business is really all about. See, if you have a hard time picking up the phone or approaching people or following up, chances are you have an interpretation that you're bugging them, that you're selling something, that you're calling them fat. You've got all kinds of interpretations in your mind that aren't true, but you're acting as if they're true and your emotions are keeping you hooked there. So if you're just doing it with external, like the 5-in-1 for your body, if you're doing that to build your business with before and after pictures on social media, either one of those are going to be short-term success. They're not going to last without doing the internal work, because you're not going to see the results long-term beyond what your identity is. That's hard to hear. And some people go, Kim, people aren't ready to hear that. Well, you know what? I think you are ready to hear that. I think you can hear that. Even if you're not really knowing what I really mean by the inner work yet, it's going to keep you coming back to wonder what that inner work is. It'll keep you coming back to these calls. But you know what? Honestly, personal development, if you don't work on yourself harder than anything, it's all about you. It's never about them. Everything in our life is about us, never someone else. But Kim, no, that's not true. My family, yeah. But you know what? You're processing your family through your filters. Your mothers, how many times are you doing everything for everyone else? Because you've got the people-pleasing trigger running, you've got the perfection, you've got the control trigger, you got to make sure everybody's getting along and everybody's doing and every bill is paid and every kid is happy and on their way. See, I think that's a huge disservice we see it in our generations today. We see kids that don't know how to function because maybe parents, well-meaning parents, no doubt about it, we've helped and controlled and taken care of everything. Oh, that's a whole other subject. But let's go back to, hang on. I brought up 3 different subjects right then. Jan, where was I really going?
Oh man, this is so good. I was following you. I'm just kind of going, whoa. The chat is going crazy, Kim. Everyone is writing things like, she's reading my mind. How does she know? She's psychic. Yeah. I could listen to
Oh, I know where I was. Okay. I was going back to my story. So my story was I lost that weight, right? But I knew how to build this business. So by the time I lost my 50 pounds on this is no disrespect. I say magic food, but honestly, the 5-in-1 is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal kickstart to our real program. If I could, and again, I don't know if this is contradictory to what the normal talk is right now, but honestly, if I could give you anything, change the language around what our program is. Our program is not 5-in-1. 5-in-1 is a Kickstarter. 5-in-1 gives someone, what I believe it does, and I talk a little bit about this in the book, it gives someone that has no hope that feeling of hope. It's an emotional rewiring shift. It starts us down this path of, oh, what's possible? I remember feeling that, like, oh my gosh, what's possible? What's possible? That's so important because emotionally, how many of you, the first time you did 5-in-1, it was the easiest thing you ever did? What? Put pizza right here in my face. Never, I was never tempted. Never went off, never veered one time. And I lost my 50 pounds in 15 weeks building this business like crazy because that was in my wheelhouse. I knew how to build this kind of business. I could build this kind of business in my sleep. But dang it, why did it have to be with health and weight loss? Crap, I'm not good at that. That's not in my identity. That's not in my wheelhouse. I wasn't healthy minded. I was stressed. I was junk food junkie. I hated exercise. I was resistant to anything that made me feel like I should exercise. I had rebellion about it, like tons of stuff. So here I am, like I think we were national directors in like 4 months because I knew how to build this business. And then I had all the pressure on me of being a coach, not just a coach, but I was like a leader. People had me on all their calls. I was speaking from stage. I was the new hot shot. And then we were global in like 6 months and crap. And I was continually going back. This was before the Habits of Health came out, by the way. Like this was before the book. Now you guys have there is a lot more energy and conversation and language around really what the program is right now, which is you're in a really, really much better place to hear this now. But back in the day, it was all weight loss and it was all 5-in-1. And to this day, I still hear people calling 5-in-1, oh, are you on plan? Oh, are you on program? You can do what you want to do, but I think it would serve the greater good if everyone changed that language to, because the program really is the Habits of Health. The 5-in-1 is a diet. If you're using it, like it depends on the emotion going into it. So after I did the 5-in-1 initially, that was all done, hopefully with a Kickstarter, but no one was really talking about the other things about the Habits of Health. In my world, I created quiet time. I brought quiet time, I think, to Optavia, Jan. I think meditation and quieting this mind, I think I was the first one to even start talking about this in the world of Optavia. I don't even know how much they talk about it anymore. I talk about it everywhere. Jan, I know, talks about it. Amber talks about it. Jamil talks about it. I know it's talked about on my team, but this is when I discovered the need for this because I kept feeling myself reactionary, going back into 5-in-1, thinking, but now I'm coming at it from a completely different emotional place. Now I've got pressure. Now I've got yike, they're looking at me, people, judgment, shame, more shame. I'm a leader. I felt like I had to weigh before I got to any event. Like I needed to go back on 5. Like how many of you are going on the cruise in a month and you're going, crap, oh, I got to get back on 5-in-1. Now, if you can do 5-in-1 as a Kickstarter again to tune things up and all that, great. But you got to watch your behavior. If you're doing the 5-in-1 and you can't last more than a day or a week, or 3 days and you're back to day one, honey, this is a diet. And this is diet mentality that you're getting trapped in. And you will put all your weight back on. This is how dieters, the biggest common denominator to weight gain is dieting. So you can use the 5-in-1 as a springboard to a healthy mind, to a jump starter to the Habits of Health. But the Habits of Health, if you're finding yourself doing this right now, stop doing 5-in-1. The vehicle you're in is the problem. Dr. A talks about the rocking chair. It oscillates. It only knows how to do this. It only knows how to do forward and back, calls yo-yo. You're in the wrong vehicle. Well, Kim, how do I get out of the 5-in-1? You start thinking in terms of Habits of Health, behavior. What do I do every day? What's my behavior? Judge that as your success. If you happen to eat 5 Medifast or Optavia meals, fuelings, in a day and 1 lean and green and you ended up eating a 5-in-1 plan, great. But you weren't on something that you're going to then fall off of. And then therefore you're going to have Last Supper again tonight because your survival brain will have that strong message. Well, you're going to start tomorrow. You know you are. Tomorrow. And really hold me accountable. In fact, you know what? I need a better health coach because my health coach isn't holding me accountable. I need to go switch health coaches. That's what the problem is. No, I need to join an accountability group. That's the problem because I can't stay on this thing. And if I just had a better something out here, blame, Monster Track 10, if I could just blah, 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 then I'll be okay. Then I'd make it because I did it once. Yeah, but you're a completely different emotional being today than you were when you did it that first time, maybe second time, and you saw success. The messages, emotional messages were different. And that's not really our program. The program is the habits of health. And if it doesn't mean you lose like this mythical fantasy of getting down to this mythical after weight that you think you're going to stay at for the rest of your life, managing expectations, that after weight, that picture you took, women especially, you're going to fluctuate. And if you let those fluctuations create this shame and judgment, comparison, perfectionism, all or nothing, that's what you're hearing. And you got to manage it. It doesn't mean anything if you gain 5 pounds. It could be water. Look at your behavior. Look at your actions. Look at your emotions. Look at, are you grateful? Are you thankful? Or are you being driven from a reactionary mode? Oh, there's so much stuff in here, you guys. Jan, where am I on time?
It's 8:53. So good.
So what's the answer? Maybe I should talk about some helpful solutions instead of leaving you hanging. Huge is moving to observer. And to do that, one of the best tools, easiest tools right now. In fact, do it with me. Ready? Close your eyes. Find the deepest, deepest, deepest breath you can find down in your belly. Women, your tummy's going to pooch out. Expand this whole everything. Pull it. In fact, do it with me. Ready? Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Exhale. 2, 3. Deep. Push all of it out. 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3. From that deepest part. Breathe all the way up. Hold it at the top. Exhale. 2, 3. Push it out. One more time. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. I want you to do that on your own now for a little bit. I'm just going to tell you a few things while you're doing it. Keep doing it slowly, deeply, holding it and letting it out. Focusing on our breath is the genesis of mindfulness because you are breathing right now. Breathing happens now, now, now. And when you're focusing on that, it brings your mind, you know, that brain that doesn't want you to be happy, it just wants you to survive, and it's not your overriding big higher self. It brings that part of you, your attention, back from, because most of our attention is on yesterday, is on last year, last time we failed, last time we did that, last time we couldn't do that. Or it's on tomorrow, or today, later today, or next month, these goals we have set. That's where it keeps us in anxiety and stress. It keeps your survival brain completely triggered. So when you breathe and you keep bringing your mind back, somebody said, Kim, I can't meditate because my mind is too busy. I can't shut it off. Well, what if we didn't call it that? What if we didn't try to shut off our thinking? What if we called quiet time or meditation just deeply breathing, noticing all the thoughts, being an observer, noticing the thoughts, not judging them. Oh, wow, isn't that interesting how I thought I screwed up? Wow, that is so interesting how I'm worried about putting on weight. Oh, interesting. Wow, that's interesting how I'm worried about not doing 5 and 1 and shifting to the habits of health. That's interesting how that gives me such a wow. Breathing, breathing, breathing deeply. This tool keeps us present in the moment, and in the moment is perfection. Right now is bliss. Right now is, and you shift to gratitude. Those of you who are maybe losing weight, not happy with your bodies, what if you shifted to gratitude about how amazing your body is? Amazing. Women, we've co-created, we've given birth. So what? We have stretch marks. Those are like, let's call them our medals of honor. Those are amazing. Look at, so we have some cellulite. Okay, so what? We can walk. we can do things. We have health. We can breathe. We can hear. We can see. Oh, thank you. Shift to gratitude while you're breathing. Gratitude will open the door to transformation and rewiring. And it will give you access to this new you that is really the real you. It's the real you, that's the observer in you. The observer in you is pure love. The observer in you says, good, good. The observer in you hears the judger in you that says, I suck. And it says, it's okay. It's okay. You don't. I love you. You are pure love. You came from love. You are love. That's your nature. And anything apart from that will give you wonky emotions. When you go back to aligning with pure love and heal your own little self, now you can love others. Until you love yourself and heal that, every relationship you have will have a monster component that's reactionary. It's about you. That's not love. So when you heal you, things will just start. Your desire to eat healthier is going to show up. Your desire to do these things that are going to align you are going to just be natural desires. You don't have to force them. It's not willpower. Anyway, Jan.
Wow, Kim. Thank you, honey. That was so amazing. And if you could just see the chat, honestly, we are hungry for what you've got to say. So many of us have not had the opportunity to hear from you and get this kind of training, and it's all come together in the last while as you put all of these beliefs, and not beliefs, but thoughts that you've had going on inside of you into your book, and it's the timing is perfect now for you to share them. And honestly, we're so grateful. Everybody is just, I'll send you the chat because you've got to read all this.
That'd be nice. Thank you. Thank you. That would really help me. And yeah, I mean, just let me know anything else I could do to serve. That you guys are fulfilling my mission and my purpose. So this is, you think I'm doing this for you? Actually, you're secondary. I'm doing it for me. But the fact that you're getting something from it that's maybe helping you is phenomenal. That's what gives me juice. Win-win.
Well, when we talked yesterday, Kim and I asked her if possibly she would be willing to come back maybe one more time in our 6-week journey and help us maybe learn some additional skills in the rewiring process. So how many of you guys would love that? They're all asking if you could just like talk for a few more hours right now.
She's got to go golfing.
Yeah.
I do. I got to go do a golf lesson. That's right.
That's right. Love language too.
Okay, see? You and Joe, you've always been similar.
They are so similar.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, seriously, Kim, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. We recognize that you're on vacation and you took time out to do this for us. And we will be back in touch to let you know when she's coming back. But honestly, guys, these weekly trainings to help us understand this stuff and come to an awareness, but then also be able to learn the tools of what we can do to shift is going to be so awesome in not just our Optavia coaching, but in our lives and on all our relationships. It's amazing how it impacts everything. So Kim, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thanks everybody for being on.
You bet. Thank you all. Love you all. Have a wonderful weekend and be safe. And we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.